Hey, welcome to For the Story, the only podcast that smells a little bit like the sushi you bought 2 days ago and left in your fridge. But now it's 3 in the morning and you're fucking hungry. So you'll probably eat it, right? Coincidentally, that smells like an armpit, because those are all the jokes I got. Hey, my name's Avery.
And I'm Ash, and my secret ingredient is crime.
Ooh, how dicey. Yeah, that actually kind of... oh, by the way, welcome to the porn hole, the film corner, the porn corner, and also in the film hole.
It's so gross, but you still can't get it right.
We're coming straight to you out of our little baby studios, and we're talking to you about the movie Mystery Men this week.
Yeah, we sure are. But anything to update us on? Any new movies you've seen? Not the one that we were thinking about doing. Don't do that one. But anything else?
Yeah, I've actually seen. I watch a ton of movies all the time. You know this, and so I often just put them on in the background. And I also have insomnia, and so I was over at my girlfriend's place, and I couldn't sleep. She was like totally passed out. But she has cable, and we were just watching the cable until she fell asleep, and it was pretty late, and we were watching this channel called HD Net Movies that I've never heard of before and can't find again. So it's possible that this isn't even real. It could have just been a dream.
It's probably a lucid dream.
And but I watched this movie called Brian's Song.
Brian's Song. Okay.
I've never heard of it before. It has Billy D. Williams in it, so Lando Calrissian. And the story was about these two professional football players. One guy was black and one guy was white. Billy D. Williams was the black guy. I don't know who.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, right. And it came out in 1973. So I think the story was supposed to be like progressive for the time, but it was like actually just kind of racist. And it was pretty like obnoxious in how like the way the story worked. Like there was one part where Billy D. Williams like hurt his knee, and like the white guy like helped him, like, and he was like heralded, but the black guy like wanted to quit. I was like, this is just obnoxious. So it was really bad. Don't go and watch it. I wouldn't recommend it at all. To be totally honest, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot about it, but I've never seen it. So good. I probably will. I don't know. Maybe we'll have.
Have you really heard a lot about that movie? Are you fucking with me?
Yeah.
No way.
No. Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't know. I thought I was the only person on Earth who had seen it. I was like, this can't be a thing.
Well, that's just statistically unlikely.
Yeah, like you think at least like the person editing it watched it, but nope, I'm the only person.
It's wild, dude. I don't have any new movies this week, but I will say I am seeing a movie for the weekend.
Ooh, and what movie is that?
I'm seeing a movie called The Naked Detective, because your boy's going on to Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles this weekend.
Heyo,
that's right.
That's great, dude.
I'm coming out of retirement, baby.
Going back to the porn corner for real.
One last job.
The Naked Detective. Do you know what it's about? I guess we can give Alistair and his podcast a little shout out right now. Why not?
Yeah. Get Soft, Dr. Snuggles, Compañeros podcast. I'm recording it. I will have already recorded it. It'll be out a week probably, or 2 weeks from when.
That's excellent.
We release this, yeah.
That's excellent. So good to hear. So Alistair he goes way back to our, like, right, basically at the inception of this podcast. Really, we've been talking to him. He did a similar podcast where they review softcore pornography, and we were doing like an all types of pornography podcast, and so we were like reviewing it and like talking about it, and we met each other through the channels. And Ash, you were actually on there once before, weren't you? Like a little while ago, maybe like 6 months ago.
I think I was on there twice.
Really? I still have yet to go on. I mean, it just hasn't happened yet. At some point, all the stars will align.
So.
Do they hate me? Is that right?
No.
I was gonna say maybe I would know if I like listened and they said like, and there's a part where they're like, we hate that other guy.
Well, it's funny because they used to do this intro like we're the number one podcast on the subject, and then his like girlfriend would be like, like there's the other one, and now they're like, all right, we don't know what to do now. Like, I guess that's true.
We've broadened our horizons. It's interesting because we've talked to him just recently, and I think he even said to you, he was like, yeah, it's like good to hear. You guys actually sound like you want to do this now because you're actually just watching real movies. And that's exactly what we've said too. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I got so sick of watching pornography. I can't even tell you. It's just so obnoxious. But yeah. And now we get to watch sort of good movies like Mystery Men that I actually picked for us this month.
So, what were your expectations coming into this movie, Avery?
That's a great question. I saw this movie when I was a kid, so I knew what happened in it. My expectations were that I wasn't going to find it nearly as funny as I did when I was 11 years old. And they were totally correct. A lot of lowbrow humor. Some stuff was pretty good, up like here and there. I didn't realize how many people were like actually in this. The cast of this movie is pretty good. They're all over the place.
So good.
Yeah. We have like Kel Mitchell's in this, like for whatever reason. William H. Macy is in this movie, which I think is pretty cool and a little odd for him because I feel like he's a pretty good actor. But yeah, Eddie Izzard. I feel like I recognize his name.
It's because I was so excited about it. He is probably, in my childhood, my favorite stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
What he did, he's a transvestite, so he dresses up as a woman, not like drag queen, but just like.
Oh, I'm seeing some of the pictures on IMDb. Yeah.
And he does stand-up about European history.
Really?
Which is, and it's like legitimately fantastic. Like, so good.
Interesting. Like of all things, that's fascinating. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's really odd that he's in this then. Like why divert from your successful stand-up comedian or
and you
career?
can tell that he's doing like his American accent because
I noticed that too, yeah.
He's just doing the R's kind of weird.
Really, really heavy R's. I didn't know that he was British, but I did think like this guy's putting on something, like some kind of effect to his voice. And I guess that's what it is. I guess he was just doing an American accent.
I love disco, baby.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's so bad.
It almost sounded like he was trying to do like a old timey kind of like, I don't know. It sounded a lot like that transatlantic accent. Have we ever talked about that before? Do you know what that?
Transatlantic.
Exactly.
Extra. Read all about it.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Hindenburg falls down to too many blueberries.
Oh, the humanity. Yeah.
Oh, the humanity.
What if we did an entire podcast in the transatlantic accent? You think that would be obnoxious, or do you think we'd be the most popular podcast?
I feel like if we did it specifically for like a very popular and famous movie, like let's watch Forrest Gump and just talk about it.
Just like this. This just in. Forrest Gump. A 10 out of 10.
Running. Apparently he's running.
And he keeps running. And there he goes. And then, like, I don't know, whatever. Bottom of the ninth. That's something that you would say, right?
Great job.
Yes, he did it.
Did you know that Mystery Men was actually a comic?
I knew a little bit about that because I think I looked into this movie like the last time I saw it, which was probably like, I don't know, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And
I mean, it's been around since the mid '80s.
That's pretty cool, actually. It's interesting.
Or no, the late '70s actually, and it was called the Flaming Carrot Comics.
Oh, you know what? I definitely read about this. So I think that there's a lot more characters that they don't introduce into this movie, but it is pretty interesting. It's actually technically a comic book movie that got probably adapted and changed so many times it doesn't even resemble the original.
No, it resembles every movie that fucking Ben Stiller's in. Fuck you, Ben Stiller.
I actually
garbage person.
I just totally disagree with you. I think that this when it comes to Ben Stiller, this is one of the weirdest movies he's in because he's normally like in like romantic comedies and stuff. You know what I mean?
So many Madagascar movies.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So many sequels to Meet the Fockers. Way too many. One. to Zoolander.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do fucking. I bet you he's gonna be in Dodgeball 2.
Is there gonna be a Dodgeball 2?
Shoot me, my dude.
No, wait. Is there really gonna be a Dodgeball 2?
Yes.
No way, dude. That's so unnecessary.
Another thing. Ben Stiller, why are you jacked? You don't have to be jacked. Who is that for?
Is he even jacked? He's not really jacked, I don't think.
He's jacked. It makes no sense. It's not okay. I'm going to send you a photo.
The Dodgeball cast reunites for what's basically Dodgeball 2. It's a Huffington Post from last year. I don't think this is going to happen, dude. I don't.
It's 100. He's already got the producer credit on IMDb.
Oh my god.
It's been announced. It's happening.
Oh man. Why Dodgeball 2 will never happen? Movie web. I don't know, dude. Okay, well, I'm done speculating on this. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it needs to happen.
Do you remember The Secret Life of Walter Mitty? Neither does anyone. It's terrible.
I remember the title. I don't think I ever saw that one though.
Yeah, because who wants to see Ben Stiller in anything?
He was such like a product of like the early 2000s, wasn't he?
Yeah, the early 2000s sucked. We had a terrorist attack.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Along came Polly. Do you remember Starsky?
Oh, the way you phrased that, it sounded like Along Came Polly was the terrorist attack. which, yeah, kinda. Oh my god. Yeah, Ben Stiller, I don't know. I can't hate him. I feel like I just don't really have like a ton of like passion for him, but I don't really dislike him like actively. I didn't think it was.
He feels like a less entertaining Nicolas Cage, like a hybrid between Nicolas Cage and Adam Sandler.
Oh,
and I hate it.
That's a little more accurate. Yeah. When you put the Adam Sandler in there, that sounded a little more reasonable. I was gonna say I don't compare him to Nicolas Cage. I compare him more to like. Oh, this is gonna sound a little odd, but
people with okay.
This is gonna sound odd, but I compare him more to like Matthew McConaughey. How he does like all these, he did all these like weird romantic comedies, and then did like Dodgeball and like this movie for no reason. He just has like a weird list of movies he's been, and then a whole bunch of romantic comedies, just like Matthew McConaughey. So that's what I think.
He always plays the same guy. It's a guy who's angry and like shakes his head too much because he's angry. He's like he looks like he's nodding yes.
Yeah, he does that. He does definitely act the same way all the time. Who else is in this that we recognize? Hank Azaria. I recognized him. I have no idea what else he's been in though.
He's Apu from The Simpsons, and also a kind of weird homage to imperialism of the British in India.
Yeah.
In this film as the Blue Raja.
Yeah, for sure. He's also he was also the voice of Gargamel in the Smurfs: A Christmas Carol in 2010. Well, and he was also Gargamel in the Smurfs too. Jesus Christ.
I think he's physically himself. He's not.
Oh, really?
Oh,
he actually is Gargamel.
Yeah, well, Gargamel's like basically a person, but he's dressed up in I don't know, weird clothing.
Sorry, I'm sorry I didn't get my Smurfs lore correct on our film podcast.
Yeah.
I know you're disappointed.
Yeah, you know what they call the Smurfs in France?
What?
Schtroumpf.
Do they really? Are you just making shit up?
Yeah. No, that's actually very real.
Oh no. Well, okay. So on that note, we've been chit-chatting for enough time now. Let's first of all, what were your expectations? How about we do that too? We kind of got mine out of the way and then talk some shit on Ben Stiller.
Oh yeah. Then I got really angry. I went full Ben Stiller. My head was shaking as I yelled about him. Well, my expectations were you pitched it terribly, and I thought it was going to be real garbage.
Yeah.
You're like, it's like a comedy Avengers. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good at all.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
That's bad. That's not really how it is, yeah.
Yeah. So I had very low expectations, and then when it started off with like the Tim Burton Batman universe.
Oh yeah, like, it does seem like that.
It's like
it starts off in like Mega City 1, but it's stupid. Yeah, the opening like sequence for this movie was not good. It started with the cityscape, which actually isn't bad. I feel like those effects look kind of all right. But then like you get into like it's like this like party at what's supposed to be an old folks home, but it doesn't look anything like an old folks home. And there's like these dancers in pink. It's pretty nauseating, to be honest. The color palette for this movie is not the best.
I kind of love it.
Oh, really?
I kind of am in love with it.
So you were expecting hot garbage. I can understand that. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Should we get into what we loved?
Yeah. Let's talk about some pros.
Okay. I loved this movie.
You really did?
I loved this.
I'm so
there were
glad.
certain things that were super bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But there were some genius moments. Can we talk? Okay, so there were two that really stuck out for me.
Okay.
Number one, when Wes Studi, who was like in Last of the Mohicans, the guy who played Sphinx,
Yeah.
and Ben Stiller were clashing heads. In the one moment I've ever liked Ben Stiller, he like calls out the vocal pattern that Sphinx uses, and I thought it was so clever.
Yeah.
He's like, don't all these sayings seem very formulaic? He's like, if you can't control your rage, your rage will control you. And he's just like, oh yeah, I thought that was so great. And then the guy who made the weapons, those were all so creative.
I know, they were really cool. The tornado in a can, and then the
tornado in a can,
the flamethrower.
The flamethrower.
Loved it, dude.
Yes.
I'm so glad you like this movie. I was convinced that you were just gonna think it's really stupid because it's pretty stupid.
No, it was very stupid, but I loved it.
I'm so glad.
As soon as Eddie Izzard was on this, I was like, oh okay, this is officially a great movie.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it's funny. This is one of those movies I feel like everybody kind of forgot about. I
don't think anyone saw it.
I'm pretty sure nobody saw it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure nobody saw it, and it's really funny because I've brought up this movie to like so many people over like the past decade. I've been like, it's like that part in Mystery Men when he's balancing the tack hammer on his hand and he's like, but then why'd you tell me to put my feet in watermelon? And Sphinx is like, I don't remember telling you to do that. Like, I'll bring like jokes like that up, or like the Invisible Boy, how like nobody can see him, or no, he's invisible but only when nobody's looking. That's just so dumb. Like it's the worst power, but it's funny and it ends up working out in the end. But like, yeah, I think this is such a huge pro for me. The concept of this movie is great. They're just bad superheroes. They're people they're realistic powers for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, they're not, like, real powers. It's just, like, Mr. Furious is just a guy, right? And
he's supposed to be the Incredible Hulk.
Or I guess so, is, like, what it's going for. Like...
Yeah, and Blue Raj is supposed to be Bullseye.
Oh, you think? I didn't make that parallel ever, but interesting, okay.
I mean, just the idea of a guy who can throw, like... Well, Bullseye's a guy who can throw anything and always hit his target, but he's a guy who can throw cutlery.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is his name Blue Raja?
It's so terrible, and I love that they draw attention to it too. Like, he's not blue. Like, he wears all green with flowers, and then he has this like drawn out explanation for it's just like, we're back in the 18th century when like India was like under the British Empire. Yeah, I love that it's so.
Area.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I thought it was fun.
Always weird choices with the culture of India.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Apu is so racist.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
That's a good point. If he's also the voice of Apu and he did the blue, I wonder if he had like some input for this movie, and he has some like odd fascination.
It's like a really weird thing to do to us.
Yeah,
you know, it's
really
like
specific.
If he did the Simpsons thing, and you're like, oh, okay, like he does a bunch of voices there, and they made him do a racist Indian one. That's, I guess, it's not fine, but it's better than it could be, I guess. Yeah. But then he does two, and I'm like, I don't know.
Very, very odd. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This movie, I think, benefits from that. It's kind of like. The premise is like smaller scale, but they did a lot with what I feel like they had too. There were some pretty cool miniatures, right? And they used some like pretty interesting sets. Yeah,
the sets were. I actually really liked the sets.
Yeah, like Casanova Frankenstein's house was great. It was so like tacky.
And, like, all of his weird accoutrement he was wearing.
Yeah, he was great. Like all the little like gadgets he had in his fingers, and like when Captain Amazing comes in and he's just like, make sure you take that proton accelerator gun out of your drink stir or something like that. You know, all this cool little stuff, and he was just like a comically evil genius type dude. I thought it was so funny. Yeah. What do you think about Captain Amazing? What are your thoughts there?
It was great. Great homage to the now late Stan Lee by giving a superhero a really great weakness, which was his own hubris.
Exactly.
And I liked the idea that, yeah, if there was a superhero, he would have commercial endorsements.
Of course.
And I was like, oh, that's great. That's perfect.
And he's kind of an asshole because like all the like fame and like glamour has kind of gotten to his head. But he was probably always kind of an asshole. And it's like really good.
Yeah.
And he's just like on this level and he thinks like everybody is beneath him. And then he gets caught because he's actually kind of an idiot too. So,
yeah. Because he's like, oh, this is perfect. Oh my god.
So basically, the idea, the movie starts off with that battle sequence in the old folks' home. The Mystery Men, or at least the three like founders, which are Mr. Furious, Ben Stiller, William H. Macy, who's the shoveler, and Hank Azaria, who is the Blue Raja. They kind of crash the party, and they're totally inept. They get their asses kicked by the burglars who have tried to take this. Or I guess they're robbers, but the robbery's going on, and they call themselves the Red Eye Gang, and they're stealing all this stuff from the old people. And Captain Amazing like comes in and kicks everybody's ass and steals all the glory. And like the press is there already and like talking to him and stuff. But Captain Amazing is talking to his publicist in the limousine on the way back home, and his publicist is like, honestly, this is small time, and like you're not even doing anything. Nobody really cares anymore. That's why you're losing your Pepsi endorsement and all that stuff. And so Captain Amazing decides it'd be a good idea to free one of his supervillains he had caught in the past in order to like drum up some controversy and like get these big endorsements. So the entire plot of this movie starts because Captain Amazing loses his Pepsi endorsement and feels like he needs to create a conflict so he can solve it.
And it's, hey buddy, that's the second best cola, am I right?
Yeah, seriously.
Hashtag Coke Gang, what up? I'm just kidding, I don't drink soda. Anyways, that was, yeah, and then he, gets the criminal that he thinks is the best, which not really a good supervillain.
Yeah.
All things considered.
He's just evil is his thing.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like what is that name? Those are like two very specific things, and he's neither undead or creating undead.
Yeah.
Nor is he fucking.
So yeah, I think they just they wanted something to stand out. I'm pretty sure actually I read that Casanova Frankenstein is a villain that's in the comic originally. And I'm not totally sure that if this character is very much like the original comic character. But it's definitely kind of an interesting thing. But so that's how we go onward, and we see that our heroes, the Mystery Men, they don't really call themselves that, but
no one ever does.
It only happens at the very, very end. Yeah, but we'll get to that. They're kind of losers, but they're all friends and they want to protect justice and stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
So.
I will say a fun little fact about. Wait, no, never mind.
What is it? A fun fact, or are we not there yet?
No, I mean it's a fun fact. Do you remember when? No, it's not a fun fact at all.
Okay. Is it at least a fact? Let's hear it.
It is Ben Stiller calls himself Phoenix Dark in the movie.
What is that?
At one point.
I noticed that too.
It's a reference to Dark Phoenix from Marvel.
Oh, interesting. So that's what he was going for, because he wanted a cool name. That's another thing about his character. I thought Mr. Furious is great, because he's totally pathetic. And even his boss is not taking him seriously. And he's always just I'm a powder keg. And you're the match. I'm about to blow.
You know who else was in this?
Who else?
Michael Bay.
Really?
He played a frat boy.
Michael Bay himself?
Himself.
Wow.
As one of the frat boys.
How weird. So bizarre. Janine Garofalo. I think that's how you say.
Oh God, I love Janine Garofalo.
Yeah, I've seen her in a couple other
American
things.
Summer?
Yeah, Wet Hot American Summer, and she was also in the series that came out just a couple years ago.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or wait, was she in the movie? The original movie?
Yeah, she was in
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else was she in?
Yeah, I honestly don't know off the top of my head. I'm looking at her
Oh,
IMDb.
she was a voice in Ratatouille.
Oh shit.
Oh, and her
Doesn't look like a ton of stuff.
her father has the most mafia name ever.
What is it?
Carmine Garofalo.
Oh my god, he's like a villain on his own. That's what the villain in this movie's name should have been.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
And he was an Exxon executive.
wait. So
So
wait, Carmine? Isn't that the name of her like dad in the movie?
yeah,
That's a weird coincidence. They clearly did that on purpose. How bizarre.
me. Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, cool. Yeah, I'm not recognizing anything else that she's really been in. She was in, what is this? Oh, Werewolf Bitches from Outer Space. Never heard.
Oh my god, that's so hot.
Never seen that one before. Oh, she was in Broad City. Interesting.
She was in Dogma.
I saw Dogma forever ago. I don't actually remember that one.
Yeah.
Satan, Hold My Hand.
The Cable Guy.
Really? Wow.
She was on Saturday Night
Looks like a
Live.
whole bunch of TV shows and stuff.
She was a voice actress for Kiki's Delivery Service.
Oh, she was also in The Increasingly Poor Decisions of Todd Margaret. Have you ever seen that one?
No, she was on a couple episodes of Seinfeld. Sorry, Steinfeld.
Steinfeld.
Different show.
Is that right? Different show, totally unrelated.
Oh my god.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Wow, she's been doing a lot of stuff for a long time.
Yeah. A lot of
Goes all
stuff
the
I've never
yeah,
heard.
me too. Goes all the way back to 1989. But Janine Garofalo, she was in this movie, and this is actually like,
I love her.
yeah, I actually, this is how I recognized her in Wet Hot American Summer, because I saw this movie before I saw that, and I was just like, hey, that's the bowler, because she played the bowler. It was just such a unique character, I think. So basically,
She was the only one with an arc.
I know it was great. Well, I don't know. Mr. Furious had an arc.
He didn't have an arc. He had a shoot-in love story that had no place in the damn movie.
Yeah, that's definitely a con, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I have a lot of cons too.
It is technically an arc, but it was definitely kind of ham-fisted and thrown in
very
haphazardly towards the end. The Blue Raja had an arc with his mother, or maybe
Yeah, it was kind of creepy.
yeah. So with the Blue Raja, basically, he's trying to hide his identity as like a superhero from his mother, because he's really just this guy named Jeffrey who lives with his mom. And his mom doesn't understand that he's actually going out and fighting crime. And towards the end of the movie, his mother catches him taking like her silverware, because that's his power, is he throws forks and spoons, but no knives ever, because he's not Stab Man, quote him. And she's actually really proud of him for being for doing what he thinks is right. So that's an arc right there. I don't think the shoveler really does. He has issues with his wife, but he doesn't really change his position the entire movie.
No. And you know what? As much as I enjoy William H. Macy, you know who was at one point supposed to be the shoveler?
Who?
One Danny DeVito.
That would have been great.
Tell me that's 100%.
That would have been better than William H. Macy. I feel like Macy was in the end a pretty good choice. I do like him a lot, but Danny DeVito would have been exceptional. He probably was just like, this movie's not going to make any money. I'm not going to do it. So that's probably like good for him. I almost wish, like, I don't know, this movie was all wrapped up really tight, but it's something that I've always wondered, like, what a sequel would look like. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like that there's a direction that they could go in next with a bigger bad and more like eccentric heroes.
Oh my god. Sorry, I'm looking through trivia and I'm a monster because I feel like I'm disrespecting you, but they were using from the Val Kilmer Batman Forever a lot of the same sets.
Really? That's awesome. That's so cool.
I was right.
What a good call.
Wrong one.
That's
But
so
still,
good.
Like, I knew they were Batman sets.
They do, like I was thinking the same thing the whole time, is that it looks like that kind of like kooky, like dark unreality stuff. They probably saved a ton of money by doing that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of neon.
Yeah, a lot of
Sorry,
neon.
Go on with your point. I got really excited
Nah, it's all
about
good.
being right for once.
So like there were some other things that I noticed. It looked like they were trying to go for for like this Blade Runner vibe at the beginning. It was supposed to look like Los Angeles in 2054 or whatever. And so I thought that was pretty cool. I feel like that there was an influence there. But there was like, it was really mixed because it was weird because all of the sets when they're in the city looks like this giant metropolis. But then you go to like Ben Stiller's junkyard and it looks like it's just like out in like some podunk town. And then like you see like Macy or the shoveler's house and it looks like it's in the suburbs and stuff. So I think that there was like some inconsistent set work there, but I think it's really just the comparison from like that sprawling cityscape image that they had at the beginning to the sets and the locations that they actually used. So yeah, that's probably what it is. But I did end up liking a lot of the set work. I thought it was great. I guess they really did just reuse sets. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you like this movie. I think it's really funny.
They had me when they brought in a guy who called himself Stiltman, or who at least was credited as Stiltman.
Wait, what?
Because that's like a real... Yeah, there's a guy credited as Stiltman. And I could see him in the background of that one scene. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's also a Spider-Man villain.
So, I think we should talk about that one scene. I think we're right there. Basically, I brought this up before. We've talked about Deadpool 2. And there's a scene in Deadpool 2 where Deadpool is recruiting the X-Force characters. And basically they set up at a table and they put out flyers or whatever. And these odd superheroes come in one by one. And they have these really like odd powers and try to get in the group. And they end up settling on a couple of them. But it's very, very similar.
One, right?
Yeah. In Deadpool 2 they grab. Yeah.
Bowler.
But in this movie,
all the ones in Deadpool 2.
yeah, they in this movie they have the exact same scene like 20 years before, where they throw like a party and invite like all these wannabe superheroes, and they have the same montage where they're recruiting superheroes, and it seems like I want to think that this is just a trope. Like the superhero tryouts, rather than just a straight up.
It kind of is.
Yeah, rather than just a straight up ripoff. But they're so similar that it's like, it's very, very uncanny to me that almost the same exact scene is in Deadpool 2, which is also another comedy superhero movie. So it's kind of hard to like say what really happened there, but it seems like somebody writing Deadpool 2 either saw Mystery Men and forgot about it, and then they were like, what about a superhero tryout? I feel like that's a thing. Yeah, so I don't know. I wonder if I'm the only person who's made this connection. If anybody has any info on that, if you've thought the same thing when you saw Deadpool 2, please hit us up, because it's very, very interesting. Because I remember when I saw Deadpool 2, I said that to I went to go see it with my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, there was a scene in there that was just like Mystery Men, and she like totally forgot. I think I don't remember now, but like yeah, very interesting. I think the one in Deadpool was a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. I think it works better with the character who's more like, yeah, fuck it, than like the people who are like, I need to be on a really great superhero team.
Yeah.
So we're not going to take the waffler. Because Deadpool would have been like, yeah, why not? Fuck it. You're in.
And like, in Deadpool, there's I forget what his name is. It's like Steve or something. He's just a dude. He's just like, Peter. I thought I'd come by and try out.
I think his name was Peter.
Peter, that's what it was. Which was just great. I thought that was like my favorite part of that movie. But
yeah, I thought they did it a lot. I mean, like just the idea of getting what was it, Brad Pitt?
But he's invisible.
For like a second. Like that's way better than even the Invisible Boy. Just like having like a millisecond of Brad Pitt's face and the rest of the time is invisible.
Yeah, totally good.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, my roommate's yelling. Hold on. Just 1 second. Keep talking.
All right, guys. Well, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about my week. I cried at work when I found out that Stan Lee died.
Did you really? I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad, man. I mean, like, the thing is that he lived a really long, full life, you know?
Yeah. I just was, like, even though I knew it had been coming for a while, I was not expecting it, and I was just like, no, my childhood. They'll never make a good Fantastic Four movie.
Or he'll never see it. That is kind of sad. I don't even know if that'll ever happen. I think a Fantastic Four movie that's good is as good as dead. So,
I think it was his first team.
Yeah, the first team he put together. But interesting, right? But like
Invisible Girl.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's 4 of them.
How many are there, Avery?
There's 4.
I can't read. Wait, what?
I can't read. All right, my cat's joining the podcast too. Do you have anything to say? No, he doesn't. He's a cat. He doesn't have anything to say. But yeah. So, did you have any cons for this movie?
Oh, fuck yes.
All right. What did you have in mind? Or something that wasn't so good?
I have a lot of things. Number one, I don't know if I'm just some kind of monster, but fart jokes aren't funny.
Yeah.
Having a character that is fart jokes, it doesn't play for me at all.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. There wasn't really anything creative about that. That was like a little exploitative. It's just like, it's funny farts. Let's make a whole fart joke out of a character out of a fart joke. And it's just like, a fart can be funny one time if it's never revisited, but it was just endless. And it wasn't like nauseating like it can be, but it was just like, that was that whole character. And every time he was in a scene, it was like he had to have something related to a fart happen with him. And he was also just disgusting looking because he farts, right? Because people who fart are disgusting,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely a weaker part. His name was the Spleen. Is the name of that character.
Which doesn't make sense.
No, you don't fart from your spleen. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense at all.
The sphincter would have been better.
The character's name is or the guy's name is Paul Rubens. I think he's done voice work before. And I'm
Paul Rubens?
Yeah.
Dude, you know who Paul Rubens is.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, he's Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, come on.
So
dude.
that was Pee Wee Herman. What else has he done?
That was probably the most depressing part. Was this like Pee Wee Herman
is a fart joke, yeah.
To fart joke. Like
looks like he also did voice work on Adventure Time. He was in Pee Wee Strikes Back or whatever. He was on Tim and Eric.
He started out on he started out on Pee Wee's Playhouse. I think that's where he started.
Yeah. That's probably what he's best known for. I feel like he was I feel like he did the voice of he did the voice of something that I recognized. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter anyway. But he's been in a lot of stuff. It looks like he does voice work, and pretty much the Pee Wee thing is what he rolls with. Interesting. But yeah, that was definitely a con for me. That fart character is just like, it's like, and like the thing is that I think what it was is I wanted it to be a little bit more adult of a movie. I feel like if you like take the fart character out, it could have been elevated, like, and make this like something that would be rated R. I think could have probably made it a lot funnier, and like instead of just like resorting to bottom of the barrel fart jokes. I agree with you there.
Yeah. I thought that I mentioned it earlier. The Ben Stiller like romance thing
very
was
shoot-in.
Really put in, and it didn't have the payoff I wanted. Like I was expecting Casanova Frankenstein to like actually hurt the woman, and then he goes furious, like getting a real emotional reaction out of him. But he just,
do something
like,
exceptional. Yeah. Instead, he like kind of just did what he always did. It would have been cool if it like was a time for his like fury to like actually explode into a superhuman level, It
would have been really funny if he just turned into the Hulk.
Yeah, or like actually got like additional powers, but instead he just gets angry and starts punching him and stuff.
Yeah. And just like there was nothing sparking that.
Yeah, exactly.
And just in general, I felt like with how like the parts I liked about this movie was everything that wasn't the fight scenes.
I can agree with you there. The fight scenes tend to be really they were very slapstick. Not a lot of consequences really. The only argument I honestly, the only difference I have with you there is when they find the Casanova Frankenstein and the Disco Boys in their limo, which is just an elongated Corvette, and all they do is like they follow him down the road, and then all they do is just like dent up their car. Like,
and then they're like, our first win.
Yeah, and Mr. Furious just like jumps on the roof and is like jumping up and down and like tries to pull off the emblem on the hood and like all of this stuff, and it's like a total win for them. I thought that was pretty enjoyable. That would probably be the only real fight scene that I think was fun. Everything else was just kind of stupid and highlighted them as inept. But yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, it really... That's the problem with comedy versions of action movies, is that at some point they have to do the action, and it never has the payoff you want.
Yeah, because it's either like they've gone too far down the comedy, and then the action's like an afterthought, or the other way around. But like, I think that's where Deadpool excels, because the fight scenes in Deadpool are actually good, and also like the humor is there too. Like, it's very well rounded.
The humor is kind of... It feels like it's more shoehorned in, and like if you didn't have any of the comedy, it'd still be like a okay action movie.
And all of the like during the fight scenes, all of the humor that took place during the fight scenes was dumb. It was like fart jokes or somebody gets stabbed in the butt with a fork. It's just like, that's not funny. And like, I guess it's just a butt. Like, the spleen got shot in the butt, which just is like, because he farts. Get it? You know? It's like, okay. But I don't know. What do you think about the costumes? I thought some of them were really good and some of them were dumb.
So here's a great one. A fucking weird. I don't know how to say it, but like super weird racism towards the rap crew.
Was there?
Do you remember?
No, I don't remember that.
Do you remember? They might as well have been just looking in the camera with like funky eyes and weird smiles saying, "What up, honky?" Like, that's how it felt. I was like, oh.
Really? No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, do you remember that? Like, when they were going through all those little crews, and like, I think it's like CeeLo Green is like one of these.
You think it is CeeLo Green?
Guys.
You think it is? That's good. I mean, I'm gonna look it up, and if it's not, you're racist. Ready?
All right, I think.
Wait, I got to. No, it is CeeLo Green. Holy crap!
Yes!
It's actually CeeLo Green.
Racist. You're
Damn
racist.
it! I'm the racist.
It's my least favorite party game.
Who's the racist? In a room full of like white Democrats. Yep. Which one of you is racist? So yeah, I mean, like, I think the score wasn't so great. I think that the lowbrow humor, all of that.
I don't even remember.
Those were the harder parts. The script wasn't bad. Like, everything made sense. Like, this movie like had a cohesive flow. You know what I mean? So that's what was good about it. Is like it has solidarity. There wasn't like just glaring gaps, which was good. That means that the script is passable. You know what I mean? Sure. Yeah. And so I mean, like, yeah. That's what I would say. I can't really think of another con, man. I really enjoy this movie. And it's not good, but it's definitely not terrible, you know?
I thought of another con, man.
Okay.
Ben Stiller. He's a con man for getting people to still cast him in people's movies.
It's funny. I have Ben Stiller written down now as a pro and a con. Yep.
Just remember... They're making another dodgeball.
I don't think they're going to. I just read, I couldn't find another article that said, like, confirmed Dodgeball 2. I don't think it's going to happen.
Listen, they made a second...
Anchorman. They'll make another Dodgeball. I know you're right, too.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Starsky and Hutch.
Jesus Christ.
What about Blades of Glory?
Jesus, that movie's
Blades
bad.
Of Glory?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Blades
really?
of Glory.
I didn't like any of those, those mid-2000s humor, like, comedy movies. I like Step Brothers I never really got into. All of those I didn't really... I don't really like Anchorman very much. I did like Dodgeball when it came out because I thought it was funny and I was a kid.
I I don't like comedy as a movie format.
Neither do
very
I.
much.
It just doesn't work.
I like it as a TV show. It's short, it's quick.
What I think is frustrating about comedy movies is that they cast like comedians, right? And the problem with that is that like everyone's thinking like, oh, that person's funny, right? Unless they're like a physical comedian like Jim Carrey, it doesn't make any sense because they're not the ones writing the lines. They're not writing the jokes. Unless they do have creative input to a certain degree, which is a possibility. I don't think that they bring much to the table. Like Dane Cook.
It's like me.
Like, who, by the way, was in this movie. Dane Cook was always cast as like the lead in like romantic comedies. There was a couple that he was in. There was what the fuck is the name of it? I can't remember now. But there was a couple that he was in, and like it just doesn't make sense. Like his comedy's not even very good. So I guess he just wanted some money on the side. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like for me, it's like Tiffany Haddish. I think Tiffany Haddish is one of the funniest people out there right now. And just between you and me, Avery, I licked that weird mole right off her face.
Ooh.
Saucy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't make that noise. I was making a joke. But I'd never see one of her movies because, no.
Comedy movies nowadays, and this has been something that I think has been going on since like Leslie Nielsen passed. That's his name, right? The airplane guy. It is Leslie Nielsen, right? Do you know who I'm talking about? Canadian actor. Am I thinking? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because like Airplane's good. Hot Shots is good.
I was just gonna let you like sit in that.
Yeah.
I was gonna be.
And anyway, so like he was great, but ever since he passed, I feel like comedy movies and like Chris Farley is another good example. It's very, very homogenized and boring. And they do movies like Office Party and like think of all those bad comedy movies that have come out in the last 2 decades. They're just bad. They have like Adam Sandler. Yeah, like it's like Jesus Christ. It's just not a very successful genre right now. Instead, like horror movies have had like a great revival, and horror movies were terrible in like the 90s, pretty much. And
action movies have come back, like when they had like a lull in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Action movies are really back.
And now it's all superhero movies, but there's other stuff that's coming out that's good too.
But that's action.
That counts as action.
Movies.
You're right. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I think about like the Avengers, and it's an action movie. I guess that's how I would categorize it. But it's a lot of other stuff too. Like Thor Ragnarok's also a comedy film, but it's a
buddy comedy.
Yeah, it's like a buddy comedy. You're totally right. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to like place that sometimes. They have a little bit of everything, which I think is why they're so accessible and they're so popular right now.
Yeah.
Because it's got like a little bit of something for everything. Like my mom loves Guardians of the Galaxy. There's so much to like about it. She likes the characters.
My mom loved Black Panther.
Really? I haven't even seen Black Panther. I've heard it's actually not that good. So I haven't seen it yet.
It's beautiful.
Yeah? All right. Maybe I'll watch it then. I know I'll end up watching it. I watch fucking everything. I just got to get the itch at the right time. You know what I mean? It's going to be like, I'm just going to put it on.
Like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Yeah. My mom doesn't really get into those shows. My mom watches a lot more, like, she does watch a lot of Netflix stuff, but she's more into, like, what did she watch recently? She really liked Stranger Things. Like, she loves Stranger Things. And I liked the first one. I thought the second season wasn't as good, but it ended up being all right. Regardless, we're coming up to the end of the episode here. We talked a lot about some random stuff, but hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the film hole. And so I was going to ask you, you got some 5 words and a rating for us, and then we can bring out the rest of this episode here.
No one buys Ben Stiller. 1 word, the last part. Romantic lead.
Okay. All right. Let me think and see what I got here. Fart jokes are not funny. There.
I was expecting you to try and take the tagline of the movie
again. Did I do that last time? Probably.
Well, you did that with the ting.
The ting.
The ting.
Goes.
Just remember, The Thing is a remake.
Yeah, it is. Just remember, The Thing remake. Those are my 5 words.
Perfect.
Anyway.
We're the other guys.
And So let me think. What else do we have? How would you rate this movie? Yeah, how would you rate this movie out of 10, and would you recommend it to anybody?
I would recommend it. This movie's a 2.
That's great. Yes, you know exactly where I'm coming from with this. It's such a bad movie, but I love it. My rating objectively for this movie is going to be a tasty 4. I don't think it's quite a 2. I think that a lot of the work is bad, or a lot of the jokes are just bad. A lot of the set work is good, but sometimes a lot of the effects look really bad, and the acting is not terrible, but I don't think anybody really put their heart into it, and yeah, it's just I don't know. From a recommendation standpoint, I love this movie. Go see it. You're not going to have a bad time when you watch it. But if you're a film buff and you like to take movies more seriously, you're probably not going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. That's what I have to say. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, unless you have anything else, do we do anything else? What do we do?
So next week, join us as we re-enter the wizarding world of Harry Potter to see Johnny Depp's wispy blonde mustache playing a character whose name sounds far too close to Grundle. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grundlesmith.
Oh shit! I thought this was Grundleman, the Beast Within.
Fantastic Beats: The Journey of DJ Grundle.
Fantastic Beats. Yeah, we're seeing that new Harry Potter thing. I don't know if you've seen the first one. I definitely haven't.
I have. So it's going to be a different experience.
Yeah, I'm going to have no fucking idea. I wanted to get a friend of mine to come on. I think Sydney's seen the first one, and she wants to be part of this. So we're going to go see it this week, and we may or may not have a guest if she's available.
Wait, does she like Harry Potter?
I don't think she feels really too strongly about Harry Potter. I think she thinks it's cute.
I need her to...
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I think she thinks it's cute. I don't think she's a super fan.
I hate Harry Potter.
I think it's pretty dumb too. Yeah.
It's horoscopes for nerdy white
people. It's I think people who are really big fans of Harry Potter think it's deeper than it actually is, and that there's some value to be gleaned from it, but there's really not. There's not a lot of lessons and actual legitimate stuff you can learn from it. That is just a lot of it is just stupid. Stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of repurposed stuff. And a lot of
it's a lot of Jesus allegory.
Yeah, an almost obnoxious amount of Jesus allegory, especially towards the end. It's really self-sacrifice for the greater good type stuff that's really off-putting and very definitely repurposed. But hey, whatever.
So, what happened to Rupert Grint? He was such a stud, am I right?
He was actually in, speaking of fart jokes, he was actually in a movie called Thunderpants. I don't know if you've ever heard of Thunderpants, but basically it's about this kid, not Rupert Grint, but a different kid who has toxically bad farts that a government agency uses to build a rocket to outer space.
Well, it's too bad that we don't have any rocket technology.
Yeah.
That we could use
instead of farts.
And human labor.
Came out in 2002. We should review this at some point. It's pretty bad. I'm going to send you the cover. Yeah. So that's what I got. Unless you have anything else for us for today, that's going to be it. And thanks for listening, guys. We love you.
I love you a little bit less than Avery does.
But come back, because I'll welcome you, even if Asher won't.
I'll give you an unenthusiastic hand job.
That's the worst. All right, let's get this over with.
My wrist will be limp and my eyes will be glazed over.
This is a real cover, by the way. I just sent it to you. That's a real movie. But
Rupert Grint's still a chef.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty old. That's the only other movie that he's been in that I know of.
I thought Thunderpants was the name of that Kevin Durant movie.
I have no idea. I don't.
That looks
stupid. Yeah, it's pretty bad. We could watch this. I think we should watch this. It's pretty stupid. I'm gonna make you watch this, I think.
I'm gonna make you watch something you'll hate. Well, I just gotta figure out what that is.
Yeah, I know. I have a pretty open mind for a lot of really terrible stuff, so you're gonna be hard pressed.
Watch that Stephen Hawking biopic.
I actually think that would be pretty good. I'd be into that. I like documentaries, so.
We're watching that rock paper scissors movie. Fuck
rock paper scissors movie? What?
Yeah. A Chinese rock paper scissors movie.
Jesus Christ, that does sound pretty bad. Oh my god.
All right. Well, I guess we'll catch these losers.
Yeah, listeners. Yeah, you heard it here.
I'm so sorry, guys.
For real, we do love you though, and thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you next week for Grundle Boy and Crime Man, Harry Potter 9.
Harry Potter 9. That's what they call me, because if I was...
What is actually the title of this movie? Is it a Harry Potter movie? It's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh, okay. So they took out that and Where to Find Them? Is that the title of the first one, or is the first one just Fantastic Beasts?
It's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to watch the second one and then the first one, because that makes sense in my head for some reason.
Well, wait till after you do the episode to watch the first
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's way funnier if... It's totally way funnier if I just know nothing. Because I'm going to be so lost. I'm going to be like, what? And I saw the trailer and it looks so stupid. There's like a part where that's just like all these characters and they're like, and what do you think, Albus Dumbledore? And like the camera pans and it's like... And then it's like this like young rip dude. I'm like, what the fuck? Dumbledore's an old motherfucker.
This takes place so few years after.
Oh my god.
Before Harry Potter, where he's an old.
Like
man.
very old, elderly, in fact. Like the guy who originally played Dumbledore in the first two movies died because he was so old. Oh my god. And before that, it's Jude Law, like 15 years before. Yeah, so...
We better get a good explanation of why he stabbed
the magic had aged him.
Hug.
What does Jude Law look like? Dude, he's like young and like fit looking. He's got like a... He's like a
classically good looking
He looks like he's like 33. Except for like the hairline thing, maybe. He's kind of got a hairline that's receding, but still a good looking guy. That's fucking hilarious.
What the fuck?
All right. Well, I think that's gonna be it for us this week. I've been trying to end this episode for like 10 minutes now.
Yeah, it's going great.
We're killing it.
Hey, by the way. No, I don't want to keep doing
Yeah. All right. So we will talk to you guys next week. Thank you for listening. We love you very much, and goodbye.